Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Gen X Talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jab Shakur.
What's going on?
And
this is Mike.
Yeah, Mike to the right of me, and we got JB Yao on. How you doing, JB?
What's going on?
He's still in New York, y'all.
Still in New York.
I'm in Manhattan now, so I'm just getting
Rolling.
around and
Rolling.
yeah, exactly. Rolling along the Manhattan River.
Yeah, so today, our subject, our title for this episode is 20 versus 40.
Yep.
And I ain't talking about $20 versus $40. I'm talking about 20 years old, 20s versus our 40s. We're going to get into how we thought back then versus how we think now. Maybe things that we said we were going to do or how life would be back then versus how it is now. And if anybody wants to comment, if you're watching this live as we're recording this episode, we would love to hear from you. Anyway, so getting to this topic, man, I'm not going to ask you how you been because...
Yeah, we've been pretty good. I do want to throw something out here real quick that I started some controversy recently, man. I got people mad at me. I got people talking shit about me, calling me names and shit. Yeah, man, I made some people hot. You know why?
What?
Because I went out and I said that you can't do that on television. It's funnier than the Benny Hill show.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And I stand by that shit.
I do, too, because Benny Hill really wasn't even funny.
No, he wasn't really funny at all.
He was like watching the Three Stooges with no sound. There was just one of them.
I don't even know either one of those shows.
Man, Benny Hill, when we were kids. Oh
my God.
When you see it, you're going to remember him, bro.
No. I remember Benny Hill. I remember. I just don't remember his show.
Yeah, that's the way I knew him was the Benny Hill show.
Yeah.
Which other one are you talking about, Mike?
The Benny Hill show.
Now, I don't know this other show Mike's talking about.
Okay, the Benny Hill show.
I know that one.
It had some moments, though. It had some funny moments. Like, whenever he slapped that old bald dude in the back of the head, that shit was always funny. And they always had, like, this chase scene at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And that was pretty funny. But really, if you look at the rest of the show, I mean, there wasn't a lot of humor. I mean, there was a lot of boobs and scantily clad women. And, I mean, I think as a kid, that's why I liked the show. Yeah. And I'm assuming that's why my dad liked that show.
And some of you adults that don't remember, I'm pretty sure you can see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, well, what's the other show?
But as far as comedy goes, Benny Hill didn't have it. Now, the other show was called You Can't Do That on Television.
Yeah, now that I haven't seen.
It was on Nickelodeon.
Oh, okay. No wonder.
And, no, it was basically a sketch comedy show. It was run by kids, and it was funny. It was hilarious.
Was it out when we were kids? Or since we've been going?
Yeah, it was out when we were kids. I grew up watching that. It was one of the first shows on Nickelodeon when they became a thing. It's like where the origin, like, if you've seen anything on Nickelodeon, you're familiar with the green slime.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got to watch.
Or whatnot.
Yeah. I remember the green slime. Yeah. Like Double Dare, Dare and Double Dare.
Yeah. And if you say I don't know on the show, they would just dump a bucket of green slime on your head, like right on the spot. And watching that as a kid was always great. Or if you ever say water, they would pour water on you.
Yeah.
No, that show was hysterical, and it holds up today. Like, I watched an episode of it recently. That shit is still funny as a 46-year-old adult. Like, it was just...
I ain't gonna lie, Mike. None of that shit sounds funny to me at all. I'm just not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't remember the Nickelodeon and all that. I've never seen Benny Hill. Benny Hill was like... If you could remember, JB, it's more like... I don't think it was funny at all. I think it was more like we were little, and we were able to see things that, you know, we probably were exciting us. Like... seeing a woman naked.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
It was.
Yeah, it was freak. It was like watching the Three Stooges, man. I swear, if the Three Stooges, if you just took one member and he couldn't talk and he just went through the motions, that's what Benny Hill reminds me.
You know, it's funny.
Really
but I wouldn't get mad at. I don't think y'all should get mad at Mike for an opinion like that.
Oh, people were jumping up defending
I saw that.
Benny
I remember
Hill.
that.
Like, dang. All right.
I think they took it personally because in their mind, you know, when you say you can't do that on television, that's more like a show. And when you say Benny Hill, it sounds more like it's aimed at just him. You know what I mean? Like a show versus somebody personally, and I guess they're, and then when you say this show is funnier, a lot of people in their emotions, what they heard was Benny Hill ain't funny.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I think this is more funny, but they heard, oh, he wasn't funny or he was corny or whatever they made up in their head. That's why they got pissed off at you.
Yeah, and I never said that Benny Hill was a bad show. Like, I watched it recently and I enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it a lot less than You Can't Do That on Television.
Yeah, that's nothing wrong.
And then people are like, well, one's made for adults and one's made for kids, so there's a big difference. And the truth is, You Can't Do That on Television was edgy as fuck. Like, I don't think either one of those shows could exist today. Like,
You know what's
one of their main skits on You Can't Do That on Television was, like, literally kids being executed by a Mexican firing squad.
Good Lord Almighty.
the fuck?
And the shit was hilarious.
Oh, man. No, man. I ain't in that.
But, yeah.
I'm not in that one. I see why they're mad at you now. That's why.
It was fucking nuts.
That's why they're mad, man. You rather watch that. Think that's funnier than...
And that was the show that was supposedly made for kids, and they had that going on.
You know, it's interesting. My taste in what I watch is so different now from when I was in my 20s to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was in my 20s, I would enjoy shows, you know, that were something more relatable to me being in my 20s, you know, like Good Will Hunting I really enjoyed, or when Titanic came out it was really good, or, you know, some of these things that when I watch them now, even though I still respect what they are, I don't like them as much. It's like, man, this is kind of lame.
I'm like,
yeah.
When I was in my 20s, I watched stuff that you would have thought a 40-year-old, like I was more into like the National Geographic stuff and the history, like learning about stuff and African history, and I was into all the stuff that you would think a more mature person would be into. And now I'm into more like how everybody watch the gangster movies or watch the this and that. I find myself, or, you know, watching that type of stuff now. And the Tubi movies, oh man.
Oh, Tubi is
I'm
greatness.
a freak, and y'all love Tubi movies. I would have never watched that stuff in my 20s. I would have been like, man, this crap. I don't need that. Like, I don't know how I switched, but I'd say I was 40 when I was 20, and I think I'm more 20 now.
Yeah, Tubi is greatness.
I think we just changed, our taste changed, you know.
You know what's weird is that my taste as far as TV and stuff really didn't change. I watch the same shit now that I was watching back then.
Yeah,
like,
Mike does. He's telling the truth. No, I've been knowing Mike a long time. Go ahead.
Like I will watch Star Trek. I will watch the Transformers. I'm watching all the same shit that I was watching when I was 20.
And you all that don't know Mike personally, it's like if you go over his house, he always has, like every time I go to Mike's house, he watches similar type of stuff, but he has stuff that's like on YouTube that you would know nothing about, but it's actually pretty good once you sit down. Like, you're like, dang, I never saw that. And remember that clip, the one with the football player in the locker room, the news clip? And you're like,
oh my gosh.
You don't know
this. Yeah.
Like that's something that really happened, but nobody ever saw that, you know, when it happened live. And Mike knows how to go find that and just pull it up. I mean, it's freaking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just saved it. Like, I got it on my hard drive now. It's like a test.
Basically, there was a locker room, a professional football team, I can't remember who, and like the news reporters on the news, you know, interviewing whoever, and this guy just walked by naked. I mean, showing everything. And it's like, it was on television, but nobody never noticed it. I didn't even notice it. I watched it, 3-4 times, and then you finally...
Yeah.
It was freaking crazy.
It's like a test for whenever someone new comes to my house. It's like, and everyone who's seen it, we're all sitting and giggling and stuff. Like, how many times is this person going to watch this before they see why I'm showing it to them?
I saw it the first time you showed it to me.
I don't remember what I saw, but I know I bust out laughing.
I saw it the first time only because I figured if Mike was going to show me something, it's got to be something like that. Yeah. So I was looking for it. I was like, Mike ain't going to watch something unless something's popping or leaking.
But to know that was actually on the news. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
It was on the news. Like, nobody knew.
Yeah, no, it was.
Some good classic American Christian family with their kids were watching TV to see how the Dallas Cowboys did, and they got black cock in their face.
And then once you know what it is,
you got to know that somebody saw it when it happened live.
And that's freaking crazy.
And they're like, "Oh my God, kids, cover your eyes! What the hell?"
So getting into our topic, 20 versus 40.
No,
Who wants to kick that off?
man. You know what? I think my biggest change from when I
You're breaking up a little bit.
How I'm. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
We're gonna have to wait on you.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk, and when you get a better signal, we'll get back to you. So, now the big thing for me, when I was a 20-year-old, I figured I'd be rich by now.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jeremy's the only one who actually did that. But I thought I was going to have all this money. I thought I was going to be a big-time game developer because, going to school for AutoCAD was going to teach me how to make video games, which didn't happen. I went to ITC Tech.
Yeah, we went to the same place.
Yeah.
I remember that. I went after Mike.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, so I can design a house now, but how does this help me get where I want to go?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In my 20s, I started off real good. Bought a house young, and I was the same way. You had I was ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
And then 10 years went by. When I bought my house, most of my friends lived with their parents. And then 10 years went by, and 20 years went by. It's been like 25 years, and it's like, dang, all this stuff I thought I was going to do. But I did a lot, though. But as far as you say financially or it's like you just kind of get bored with a lot of things. I think you have to do those things right then. That's my advice for a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
If you have things that you say you want to do when you get older or by the time, you have to start doing them right then.
Yeah,
If you want to do it at 40, you need to, before you can become something, you have to first be it. So if you're at 40, you want to have this, and this, whatever your goals are. At that day, at that moment, you need to start being it. Don't wait till you're 40 because it'll never.
Yeah.
Something else will always come up.
Right.
Unless you make it the priority.
Because life is going to get in the way.
Yeah, but let me also make a different point of view on this. When I was in my 20s, let's just say when I was in my late teens and 20s, all I wanted to do was be successful. I had ambition, business ambition, and I was a mover and shaker. I would jump out and do shit, start shit, whatever. And I think it's overrated. I think that success relating to how much money you have is overrated.
Of course.
It is. No, really though. I mean that.
No, it is.
Well, I think it's overrated once you get to a certain point. Like
no, I mean I think
people.
Well, I want to be clear.
Yeah. No. I think what he's saying is kind of correct. Overrated. He means as far as that just being success. Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, but I want to. Yeah, I want to elaborate on this just for a second and hear you guys' opinion on it. But it's like, do something you love or that brings you peace.
Exactly.
And that's it. Don't worry about necessarily how much money you make. I mean, obviously, if you want to live a certain lifestyle,
your money,
and you don't have the financial capabilities to do it, then you got to learn discipline, and you got to learn to just live within your means.
Right.
And you got to find your inner comfort. You got to find that. And even if you're rich, even if you're a millionaire, whatever, you got to find your inner comfort because you're going to have the same feeling of despair, the same feeling of wishing that you could have more in life or more satisfaction, the feeling of needing to be satisfied. Even if you're standing on a mountain full of cash, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
You got to find a way. Yeah.
You're right.
And so I mean this, and I mean this wholeheartedly. I hate even talking about money in the sense of success and who is or isn't successful.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wasn't even speaking about money. I was just speaking about whatever it is that you want to do. At the age of 20, I always felt like I had all this time. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Oh man, I got plenty of time to do that. I got plenty. I'll do that I'll do that once I have a child, or I'll do that once I get married, or I'll wait till I get married and get a wife, and then we'll go to Jamaica, or we'll go to Europe, And I've learned it, the way I think now is don't wait. Everything that you want to do, create it and make it happen. I mean, it may take you a little while to get there, but whatever you don't say when I'm this age, I'm going to have this. Try to have it tomorrow. It won't come tomorrow, but if you reach for tomorrow or you said, you make the preparation, I think you'll get a lot more things accomplished than waiting.
Yeah, really. Just start right now, period.
Well,
because,
it's...
for me, I thought I was going to have all these things. I thought I was going to be married and have kids and stuff. I'm 46 years old now. I've never been married because I wanted to wait until I was financially secure and then start a family.
That's what
And you know what? That shit didn't happen. I'm still fucking living paycheck to paycheck. But at this point, I'm paycheck to paycheck. They're pretty nice paychecks nowadays. But I'm like, I wasted all that time, you know?
And that's why I said what I said. Go ahead and do it. See, how do you see, like, just use Mike's example, not picking on you. But you see how you said, I want to wait till this. But think if you had went ahead and done it. The wife and the marriage may have been the key to becoming financially stable. 2 incomes are better than one. 2 people work. One thing I do believe in, and I'm not married either, and I've been divorced, and it don't seem to work, but I do believe the right way. 2 individuals come together as one under the spiritual realm of God, regardless of whatever religion or whatever you believe in. I believe that that's the key to success in life. I still believe that, even if I'm not living that way. And so, in those days, maybe it would have made a difference. That's why I say don't, if it's what you want to do. Now, if marriage is not what you want to do, then don't do it. But if marriage is what you want to do, you don't have to wait. You're not going to have everything. You're never going to be financially secure because you don't know what's coming up. You don't know if we're going to catch cancer tomorrow and take all our money.
Yeah.
We don't really ever know what's ahead. So go ahead and make those moves.
It's interesting because I was fortunate when I was in my 20s. I was born and raised around losing shit, like getting cars repoed, getting credit cards charged off, house payments behind. That was the way I was raised. I mentioned it. So I never had the fear. So I never had a fear of losing anything.
Yeah.
So in my 20s, I risked everything.
Right.
I always risk. I took risk and big risk, and now I own businesses, yada yada, blah blah blah. And I was able to do that because of the way I was wired,
right,
and the way I was in my circumstance.
Right.
But I do realize, I do talk to a lot of people in our age bracket that feel like when they're in their 20s, they were a bit more conservative at taking risk because they thought they had time. And now in their 40s, they look back wishing they would have just fucking done something.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this, we still have plenty of time.
Right.
Like we're not that old. You guys still have time to do what you want to do. Mike, you can still develop games. Yeah, you can still do it. Don't talk in the negative connotation that I wish I would have or did. Yeah. I mean, it's good advice for young people, but let's talk about people our age.
Yeah.
How do we get that? How do we get into our 40s and think, let's move ahead, let's persevere? I mean, that's something we need to think about differently than we did when we're in our 20s.
Heck yeah, I agree.
I mean, and I've heard this said before, Colonel Sanders wasn't successful until he was 65 years old. Like he pretty much failed his whole life, and then all of a sudden he landed on something and opened up a restaurant.
Yeah.
And obviously...
enjoyed it for what, 5 years maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me ask y'all a question. Seriously, I want to ask everybody, this is a mind frame. I want to see what everybody thinks.
Mm-hmm.
If you were making the kind of money that in your own mind, you don't have to say the number, but just whatever it is in your mind that would be a successful financial number, what would you be doing differently right now in your life that you can't do right now?
I'd be doing the same thing.
I'd be doing the whole exact same thing, just with a lot less stress and a bigger house.
Yeah, that's why I probably have like I have some land, bigger house for my animals, but I probably do this because I enjoy my life. So I may travel a little more, but I probably wouldn't because it's not my thing. I just probably have more of what I want at my home, unless I'd have to leave the house.
Yeah, I'm happy right now. I'd be happier, without any debt, but I'm okay.
I don't think. See, me, I don't think financial is it's just success because people. I was in the streets, so at one point in my life, I had plenty of money to do whatever I want. And when I had my child, I walked away from a lot of things. Started working and I just wanted to be a good father. So success to me, yes, it's been able to live comfortable, but it's really a person with their happiness and health. Because health to me now is a big thing. Because I was always, pretty much in shade athlete. Since I've gotten older, I've come in, of course, different health issues and stuff just with age or whatever, or things maybe you didn't know about. And so those are the things that really make a difference because you can have all the money in the world and they tell you, oh, you have this and there's no cure for it. Or even though you had all this money, you were drinking all the time and now your liver's messed up. You can't get a liver. There's so many things that money or your kids are screwed up and, all over the place. My daughter is actually happy and living a great life. And that's really what I could say I dedicated my life to once I had my child is I just wanted my daughter to be better than me, like better living situation. Like you said, we grew up the same way, Jeremy. That's how we ended up over there by you all in the duplex. We didn't live in a house. We had a house before. Yeah. So I went through all of that. And my daughter, she's never experienced it. Yeah, me and her mom got a divorce, but she's never experienced not having something she wanted. Nothing, ever. Not a trip, Now, I've not done some things. I may have paid for her and her mom to go, or you know what I mean? I didn't do everything with her because maybe I wasn't. But my daughter has never missed nothing in life. And to me, that's success. For me, Now,
no, I agree.
That I have her, she has a good job. She's working in school. Now I can more focus on me and what I want to do just for me. And I'm content with it. I'm satisfied.
But you have to I think people that are listening that are our age that feel like they haven't accomplished their goals need to first realize and ask themselves, what would they literally do if they have accomplished their goals?
Right.
And would their life really look that different?
Yeah.
And the idea is
to create new goals.
Reverse engineer.
Well, you're going to create new goals. Once you accomplish goals, so you're always going to be in the same fight or struggle or whatever you want to call it.
Well, that's just being human.
More. Yeah, you're going to always try to get more.
You always want new goals, Like for me, like I said, my life is pretty good right now. I'm happy, I just want that extra security. That's the only thing that money can do for me right now, I don't need brand new cars and fancy shit, I just want to know that, hey, if I do get sick, I'm not going to miss any bills.
You know what? So that goes back to what you said, JB. You remember, and I like that you said that because I think about when I was younger, I was that way. I took a lot of risks that I wouldn't dare take now. But you hear what Mike just said. His financial is not really the issue. It's really more of something that we create mentally because he said if something was to go wrong. So it's still a type of fear. And that's what you just spoke on that I think was real powerful. Not having that fear is what makes you rich, is what makes you invincible because everything everything about us is based on fear. From religion to voting to, think about it. Paying taxes, everything we do, somebody has put fear in us. You get what I'm saying? Not saying that it's right or wrong, but it's true. Think about it. When you were a kid, you were taught to be good, believe in God. If not, I don't know if y'all were taught this, you're going to go to hell. That's fear. You get what I'm saying? If you act up in school, mom and dad's going to whip you. That's fear. So we've always been given fear to keep us in check. And it's limited us in some ways too because we're save your money for a rainy day. No, don't save it, invest it. Because if you save $100, everyone that's listening, if you save $100 and the inflation rate is 4% every year your money sits in that bank. Your $100 next year is worth $96. The year after that is worth, $92. You get what I'm saying? But because of fear, someone told you, hey, save your money. But the people who are getting rich or that are financially successful, they're not saving money. They're investing every damn dollar. Matter of fact, they're borrowing money to invest money. Am I right, JB, or am I wrong?
No, you're preaching gospel, man. I love to keep going. Yeah.
So and a lot of us, we didn't want to go get that loan because we were scared. Well, what if I fuck the money off? What if I get the loan and I blow the money and it doesn't work? Then I got to still pay the loan back. Now I'm in debt. And it limited us from making moves that maybe would have put us in a situation where we would have all of the things that we want. And that's my issue. I admit that. I'm more fearful or more cautious now because I'm worried about my child or this or that sometimes I don't make certain moves that I probably I would say in my 20s, had I known about those things, man, I would have jumped right on that. And so I agree with, I think that's a big, I guess if somebody got something from this show, I would want them to get what JB said. That's a big thing.
Yeah, really.
Well, I appreciate the way you put it because it was really good. It was really eloquent. And honestly, you said it, you can't say it any better.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Now we're 40, in our 40s.
Yeah.
What do? How do we still go after our dreams and go from being 20? I know, it's different. I know the show wasn't just necessarily based on that, but
it is. Yeah.
How do we? Right. So we need to now encourage ourselves to realize that we still have plenty of time. We don't have as much as we did when we were 20s, but what we didn't have was we got wisdom.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, all of us are more wise, other than when it comes to women, maybe. But we're more wise, and anyone that's listening that's in their 40s that feels like they haven't met their goals or where they want to be in life. Well, you got wisdom now. Use that wisdom and take action.
Exactly.
Don't stop.
And I'm gonna define that real fast because I hear people use the word wisdom a lot. A lot of people need to know what wisdom is. Wisdom is knowledge applied. So
yes.
A lot of us, what we're doing, and the reason why I'm saying this because I don't want anyone out there to feel like we're picking on them. I'm talking about myself too. We have this knowledge, but we don't apply it. That's the only benefit in probably being 40 versus 20 is that the knowledge that you gain. But if we can't apply the knowledge, then it's kind of useless.
Yeah, but we have the wisdom, but nowadays we also got some fucking back pain and lactose intolerant and shit. I mean, it's harder to apply it now. Like, I wish I knew what I know now, but had the body I had back when I was younger.
Okay, let's say you did. What would you do different?
Probably the exact same shit I'm doing now anyway.
But I'm saying, what I'm saying is, I think physically, we may not be able to do some of the things, but other than that, unless you're trying to be an actor or win a beauty contest, you can really do the same. I don't know anything I can't do now.
Well, but Mike,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I wanted to say, Mike, you said something. You said, I just want to be more secure. I want to have the security and peace of mind that, if I needed to have some downtime that I could afford to and my bills were covered and I was debt free, whatever the scenario is, right?
Yeah.
You don't need a body and you don't need to, worry about your lactose consumption. What you need to
throwing that out there.
No, I know. But my point is, sorry, I'm in the city now driving, so I'm having fun. But my point is what y'all need is take action.
Yeah.
Not let fear own you. Because
exactly.
If you want to, for example, if you want to be debt free, anybody, and have security, you got to first know what your debt is. Let's just pretend it's $100,000. It could be $1 million, it could be whatever, but let's just call it $100,000. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we know it would take you 20 years to pay that off if you could only apply $5,000 a year to it, right? Like that's what we know.
Yeah.
Or it would take you 2 years if you could find a way to do $50,000 a year, right?
Right.
So the question is, first off, you gotta look at damage control. You gotta look at the damage and pick your number, and then you gotta ask yourself how you're gonna approach getting out of that debt.
Exactly.
And then if your gainfully employed job alone can't do it, don't be afraid to put more time in. See, we get comfortable and complacent as we get older.
Yeah.
You got to step up your energy and say, you know what? There's 8 hours in a day. I work 8 hours. I'm going to take a 2-hour break. Then I'm going to go somewhere else and work 4. Or I'm going to do this business venture. Or I'm going to invest in this or do something else.
Exactly.
And then plan it and quit. And when you get a little bit of success, like start making a few grand, don't start buying better, nicer shit.
Live the same way you were living.
Pay your debt down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. No,
and
I
it's
agree.
so obtainable.
It's easy.
It's so fucking obtainable.
You know what else?
Everybody wants to complain.
You know what else I just thought about? Because while you were talking, you know what I wanted to say too? I wanted to say, and get the fuck off social media. Get off Facebook. That's another thing. When I was 20, I wasn't on no social media. I didn't get on like Facebook. So I was like 32 years old. It was like 2012 when I got on there. I think that makes a big difference too, because I'm looking at average people that I know every day. And I'm on Facebook. Like, I've been off work and I'm just on there all day a lot. And I noticed that a lot of people are on there all day. There's no way unless you're making money on social media, there's no way you're going to be productive the way you need to be if you're on social media hours and hours a day. I mean, that's just that. I mean, I don't care how you try to, I'm not on there that much, or yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because you come in, then you go back to look to see what somebody said. And I do this. When we're in our 20s, we didn't have no damn social media. We had cell phones, but we didn't use them like, you know what I mean? Like now, so we had more time for business or our goals versus sitting at home being entertained by our phones.
Yeah, back then we had social media, but you had to actually go to your house and get on the computer and log in, and you did your social media on the computer.
Right.
Social media didn't go with you everywhere you go in life.
And I didn't have it. I didn't have MySpace. And I didn't get on social media till 2011, somewhere. Yeah, I got divorced. And all of it came out at the same time.
Well, you know the old saying, if there's a will, there's a way. The first thing is you got to get in the will. You got to tell yourself, I am willing to do in my 40s, and we're still young, man. We're not that old. Mm-hmm. In my 40s, I am willing to make a plan to get out of debt, write down my debt, write down how much a year I want to make to apply towards that debt, and I'm going to find a way to compensate my time into dollars and cents and get out of debt. Mike, you can do it right fucking now if you want. The only reason why you wouldn't, and I don't mean this against you personally, but anyone, is because you're just not taking the steps. Instead, you're stressing over it. And I get it. Man, God, do I get it. I suffer from depression and anxieties, but we focus so much on what Jab said, the fear, that we don't fucking focus on the action.
And the fear controls you.
Yes.
It controls you. It limits you. Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yes.
It does. There's a saying, it's a guy, I used to talk to a lot of people speaking. Sometimes I forget stuff and I think about it, but he said, according to like science and physics, a bumblebee can't fly because his body is so fat and his wings are like thin as paper, And so if you do all the, in the science labs, according to physics, a bumblebee can't fly. And he said, you know why a bumblebee flies? I'm like, no. He said, because he believes he can. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Everything about physics and science, every odd defies the butterfly. The bumblebee. It can't fly, but it does. And I think that's kind of how we got to be. Like, you just really have to believe it.
Right. And, the problem with us is we're sentient beings where bumblebees aren't. They're just little robots, organic robots. And they're just going to do and move in their instincts. We have the ability to think and fantasize and imagine. And a lot of times, fear is imaginary. We sit and imagine what would happen if this happens.
Yeah.
So we fantasize about that image. It's true. It's
it is. It really is.
You got to stop and start fantasizing about what you want out of life and how you're going to get there. Like meditate about action. Take action. See yourself doing it. Like really, I know it sounds silly and it sounds fucking hooky maybe a little bit, but I'm telling you, that's what I've always done. I sit down and I think, man, what would it look like if I had an office and I had employees and I had a business and this, that. I mean, I would sit there and just think about it until fucking, how do I do it? Fuck it, I'm going to go to the courthouse and get a DBA. Fuck it, I'm going to open a corporation. Fuck it, I'm going to make enough money to pay one guy. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but that's business. But you don't even have to be in business. I mean, just as long as if you put more time in weekends, like y'all are two smart, incredibly smart guys. Mike, you're very smart. You could, in theory, find ways to monetize in weekends, and pay down your debt. But it's hard to do that because we want to be able to be complacent. It's natural to want to sit and go, you know what? This weekend I'm going to sit on my couch. I'm going to chill. I'm going to relax. I do that shit. I mean, I ain't perfect. Fuck no, man. But I'm telling you, it's possible. We just have to retool the way we think.
Exactly.
And like Jab said, man, we got to get fear out of our fucking system.
And I'm going to tell you another thing I didn't do in my 20s that's weird. Well, in my early, like 20, 21. But I'm going to say 23, 24 up. I didn't drink. And in my 40s, I started drinking. And that
me too.
Fucks up everything. Yeah, like I know the whole, I'm going to say at least age 23, 24, I didn't drink at all. I probably started back drinking mid-30s, closer to 40. Well, and that's made a big difference, too.
I can say in my 20s, I was fucking stupid. I was getting lit every weekend.
I remember that.
I mean, I would go to Dallas and go to Deep Ellum, go to all the bars and party and shit out there, get fucked up, and I would drive home to Fort Worth every weekend. I don't know how I didn't die or kill someone else.
I probably rode with Mike one of those days.
But I was done. I was fucked up. You want
to
hear the fucked up? You want to hear the fucked up thing though? All those times I went and I got hammered and I drove back home. The one time we had a wreck was because I was fucked up. I gave you the keys and you drove. And I think like there was a sign on the ground that you ran over.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I
was like, what the fuck?
And I don't think I wasn't drinking at all. I remember that. That's back when they used to have that legal weed and all that at Deep Ellum.
Yeah.
Remember
what
all
was
those
it called? Now they have like Delta 8 and all that shit.
Yeah, I remember those. Man, I forgot about it. I was about to say, man, Mike, full of shit till he said that sign. I remember. And the airbag and all that came out.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, how the fuck, man? I did the responsible
And it wasn't
thing.
even a bad wreck, but the airbags and all that came out. I remember that shit. I remember that. Oh, God.
And this is the time that we hit something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, it was nuts, man. I was so...
I've never been able to see well, so me and driving at night.
Yeah, and, well, my night driving has gotten really bad now. Like, I barely go anywhere at night at this point. I try to stay the fuck at home.
Yeah.
Which sucks right now in the winter because, you know, I work 10-hour days.
It's dark early.
Yeah, so it's dark when I go to work and it's dark when I come home.
Okay.
And, like, I've been taking vitamin D just to avoid the depression of not seeing the sun.
Oh, man.
But,
so I like our life, though, man. It's like being older. And especially if you're single, like, it's cool when you're around 40 because you can kind of date. They got so many different chicks. You can date the younger ones, like, you know, 10 years old, 10 years older. You're like a good age right around 40. Really the high 30s, but, you know, even guys out there at 40, it's good. 40 was a good age.
Yeah.
Great age.
But
going to 45, I'm more just. I love 40.
Yeah, I had my fun when I was in my 20s and 30s. I mean, I had more fun than I thought I would. I thought I was just going to be a fucking virgin my whole life. And then, I don't know, I guess at some point when I was 20, I got cute all of a sudden. At least for a little while in my life.
You know, man, we get confident. We quit. That's the thing about me. I mean, of course, in my 20s, I was married.
Yeah.
But before I got married, I was kind of, you know, nerdy and just kind of, I wouldn't say I was some kind of a bitch getter or anything, but now I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's like I am what I am, and women like that. They like confidence.
That's
you know, women like.
Yeah.
They like confidence. They like all those things, and they like. I mean, you know, that's what's worked for me now, and you know, shit. But now, like I say, you know, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah,
you know,
you get older, it's not even about that no more. Man. It's like.
No,
I'm sick
no,
of
man.
I just want to make my shit happen. Yeah,
that's it.
I'm like at the point in my life now. I think more about I guess I don't want to die, but I guess I think about it. Not like I don't really think about me dying, but I think more about leaving stuff for my daughter and I say kids, but I only have one. But her and like her children to come. 20, I never thought about my kid. I think I got a life insurance policy. I think that's about all I did. In case but I never thought about like leaving her this or leaving her this or hey, putting this in a trust for my case I have a grandson. I want my grandson to have this. Or, I think about stuff like that now.
The thing about you that I do know about you and your daughter is you leave love, man.
Yeah.
And that love lasts generations.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. I know that sounds silly, but it's so true.
No, it is.
And so just keep that, man, as a spirit, because that's really good. That's awesome. You're a good father and you love your daughter, and that goes a long way. That's a legacy.
Come to nothing else. But I'm good at that, brother. You can't take that from me.
That's everything.
But you know what?
More than
I'm
anything.
right there with you on that. Like, I don't necessarily think about death, but I do sometimes think about how this world is going to be without me.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do now that's going to last, beyond my life?
Impregnate someone.
Well, every man wants to leave a legacy and leave his mark. Yeah. That's just wired in us as men. And y'all have, and you will, in your own way. It may not be iconic like Elvis Presley or Michael Jackson or someone, but you know what? Everyone leaves a mark. Everyone leaves a footprint.
Yeah,
we're all going to be, we do, and you will.
Else, we're going to have Gen X talk on YouTube for sure. That's not going anywhere.
Hey, man, forever. This is online forever.
Look at this.
It's done.
Yep. This ain't going nowhere.
Done. It's
right.
Printed in minute, baby. Printed in minute.
So, yeah,
all right, fellas,
years from now, if YouTube's still around, people will still see me.
Oh, yeah, it'll be here.
I just think as my final thoughts on this show is I got to wrap up here. I'm about to get in this parking garage. Is, man, look, we're not in our 20s, but we're not in our 60s.
Right.
Okay? We're in our 40s. There's a lot of time left. But like Jab said, man, God, like you said, take action now and don't use the excuses. Quit. Get those out of your system. Just fucking say, you know what? Today's the day I make the change and I take action. And hopefully, whatever that is, it benefits you, man. So I wish everybody luck and a good voyage.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So hey, we're gonna take action, and in order for that to happen, we need you to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Share it with everybody. Share it with your mama.
Share it.
Okay? Okay? So we can monetize this shit.
Yeah, so we can pay off
that.
Okay. We're taking action. Now you need to take action and support the Gen X Talk podcast. Support us on Spotify, on YouTube, wherever you see us. Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Hit the like button. Leave us a 5-star review if you like us. If you don't like us, leave us a 5-star review. And, hey, until next time, bye.
Bye.